Are you a good runner? If you are, you probably need more advanced training strategies. And what I would love to do in this video is introduce you to some of my most favorite, more advanced types of workouts that you can start implementing in your training, really no matter what kind of race that you're training for. These are very adaptable. They're quite fundamental and developmental in a lot of different ways. So they're gonna help you no matter if you're training for a really good 5K or if you're training for a very long race like the marathon. Now, because you are getting to be a more competitive runner, once you build up your capacity for more training, once you increase your ability to handle a little bit more speed work, these workouts might be very good for you. They might help you get to that next level. But if you're a beginner, if you're an intermediate runner, if you're running 30 miles a week, maybe these workouts are a little bit too advanced. So I do want you to take these with a big grain of salt. Don't bite off more than you can chew, because at the end of the day, workouts are not nearly as important as other aspects of your training, like your overall volume, your consistency, and how well you're doing with all those little things in your training that I don't think are very little. So let's get into some of these workouts and why they're so good for you and how to execute them. All right, so let's talk about the first workout. This is a workout that I was introduced to when I was in college, and I love assigning it to my more advanced athletes. And when we do our coaching calls, I usually say something like, look, you're probably not gonna like me too much on this day. This isn't a fun workout, but it is really good for you. And this is a lactate clearance threshold workout. And so this is almost like a normal threshold run where you might run, say, 5 miles at your lactate threshold, a classic tempo run. But the wrinkle that we are gonna add to this workout is including multiple surges throughout this threshold run. So the point is actually to spike your heart rate, spike the levels of lactate in your blood, and it's gonna make it a much more challenging workout. And it's called a lactate clearance threshold workout because what you're trying to do is increase the levels of lactate ever so subtly, but then you have to clear that lactate while still running your threshold pace. So here's how we did it when I was in college. We would run 8 kilometers on the track, so 20 laps, and we would run all of this at our threshold effort. So you would run your tempo pace, but final meters of every mile, you would speed up to your 5K pace. So it'd essentially be 1,400 meters at your threshold pace, 200 meters at 5K pace, and then you would go right back to your threshold pace. And what this did was increase your heart rate, increase the perceived effort of the run, and it increased the lactate levels in your blood. Now, this wasn't too fun because there's no recovery. You have to just recover while you are running your threshold pace. And so this is a really advanced workout. It's very uncomfortable. It's not gonna make you feel really great. But the great thing about this is that it teaches your body to process and use for fuel all that excess lactate while you are still running a pretty hard effort, your threshold pace. So this is very much like a race where you might have to counter surges, you might have to counter your competitors as they are putting the moves on you in the race to try to drop you. So this is a really good workout, not only for what I'll call high-end endurance, really pushing up on that lactate threshold barrier, that second threshold that we have. And also, it teaches you how to be a little bit more competitive, how to get really good at being comfortable, being uncomfortable, and builds a lot of mental toughness because of that. So for most runners, unless you are running your 5K pace pretty close to 5 minutes a mile, I actually like to modify this workout a little bit for most of us and just say the last 30 seconds, maybe 45 seconds, but really the last 30 seconds or so of each mile of your next threshold workout. Pick up the pace to 5K pace and then resettle back into your threshold pace. This lactate clearance threshold workout is very hard, but it can be very beneficial for our more advanced runners. Okay, our next hard workout for more advanced runners is what's called a hammer repetition. This is a wrinkle that you add to other workouts you're already running. Whether it's a fartlek workout, whether you're running repetitions on the track, this workout is best done during the competitive phase of your training season when you're running hard workouts. So in other words, this is not good for the base phase of training. This is good for when you're racing hard, when you're doing hard workouts already. So let's say you're running 5 times 800 meters at your 5K race pace. So pretty specific to the race itself, but you want to add a little bit more difficulty. Here's what we're going to do. The 4th repetition, the second to last repetition, which is usually psychologically the hardest repetition that we're going to do just because of where you are in the workout and the mounting fatigue levels. What we are going to do is run that substantially faster than your 5K pace. It's essentially turning one of your repetitions not into an all-out race, but really taking the effort up to about 95%. So let's just say your 5K race pace is 7 minutes a mile. You're trying to run these 800-meter segments in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Well, let's run the 4th one of these repetitions, the 4th of 5, maybe in 3:10 or 3:15. Maybe we run our mile race pace or 2-mile race pace for this 800-meter repetition. This is a hard workout, and what it's going to teach you is, 1, how to run really hard when you are quite tired. That is a necessity, especially in the later stages of a middle distance race, where you feel like you're just bathing in lactate and hydrogen ions, and you're just in that fully VO2 max type effort. But you still have to kick. You still have to find that next gear to keep running fast. This kind of a workout, by using a hammer rep, is going to help you do exactly that. Now, this is not for the faint of heart. That 4th repetition is going to feel almost like a race effort, which is very, very difficult. So definitely don't do this workout if you're not already comfortable running a workout like this at your 5K race pace. But if you are a slightly more advanced runner, this is going to teach you some good competitive instincts to really run hard when your legs are completely toast, and that's a good thing. Okay, the last thing that we're gonna do as more advanced runners is that we are gonna run a much more consistent, longer long run. This isn't actually a workout. It's sort of, long run is technically not classified as a workout for most runners. But however, more advanced runners are probably running more lengthy long runs more frequently. So if you are a pretty good runner, you're consistent, you are putting down some competitive times, I don't really think there's any reason why you shouldn't be running a 15 to 20 mile long run, somewhere in the, let's try to do metric for now. Let's do 24 to 32 kilometers, somewhere in there, for your long run on the regular. Of course, you're going to take a couple easy weeks after a season. Of course, you're going to have to build back up to that. But most of the time, spending your weekend doing a 15 to 20 mile long run is going to be a really good idea. You are constantly going to be developing that aerobic metabolism. You are constantly going to be teaching your body how to be efficient with your glycogen stores. You are constantly going to be fatiguing your type 1 muscle fibers so that your type 2, your more fast twitch muscle fibers pick up the slack a little bit. There's so many good things to love about a high quality long run. And as you become more advanced, I want to encourage you to always be doing a 15, 16, 18, 20 mile long run when you are training for a race. Even if you're training for a short race like, say, the 10K, you are going to be really good at the 10K if you're regularly doing a 18, 19 mile long run. You're going to be strong. The distance itself is going to seem so short, so you can focus on running it fast instead of just focusing on finishing the distance. All right, there we are, my friends. Those are some much more advanced types of runs and workouts that I think more advanced runners should focus on in their training. Now, of course, workouts, this is like the art form within the running space. So there's 1,000,001 types of workouts you can run. This is just a sampling of some of the types of more advanced workouts that I like to incorporate, not only in my personal training, but in some of the training plans of my more advanced athletes. So I'm actually curious for you, what kind of advanced workouts do you like to run? I'd love for you to leave a comment under this video and let us all know, because workouts are one of those things where we can always be learning how to structure better workouts, new workouts, varied workouts so that we can keep pushing the envelope and driving our fitness forward. So let me know what kind of advanced workouts you like underneath the comments. And if you want more ideas, there are several links under this video to go to other videos and resources for all kinds of different workouts for endurance runners.